Troy. Troy Oechsner is the Deputy Superintendent for the New York State Department of Insurance. How many of you are in the insurance business in the audience here? Go get him, Troy.
Hi. So I know everyone wants to hear the secretary and everyone else on the panel, so I will be short. I am short. And probably anything I say, to quote my Portuguese high school soccer coach, is going to go in one ear and down the street.
That's vertically challenged, right?
Vertically challenged, yes. So I'm going to just make a couple of very quick, broad observations, both first on substance and then on process. Hopefully keep it to under 5 minutes. Substantively, as you know, I work with Joe on the Partnership for Coverage, where we were looking at state-based initiatives to expand coverage. And given the budget in particular, it's impossible to imagine on New York State's level, and given our fiscal condition, the kind of amazing changes that are happening on the federal level and that will be happening in New York, happening by New York alone. So it's an amazing opportunity and a couple of the big changes. Of course, I'm an insurance regulator, and so some of the key reforms have to do with regulating insurance. Most everybody in the state has insurance of one kind or another. And for those in commercial insurance, there's some major changes that are going to make things better. Some of them New York already has. New York already is guarantee issue and community rated. So in other words, in many other states, which you may not realize, an insurance company can decide, hey, you're too sick, we don't want to take you at all. Or we'll take you, but we want to charge you a lot more money because you're sick. In New York, you can't do that. And we're actually the only state in the country that has both open enrollment and pure community rating, meaning no variation in rates based on experience. You can make variations based on the benefits, but not based on experience. Well, the rest of the country is going to get at least a version of what we have in New York. But there are a number of insurance reforms that go beyond what we have in New York, and one of the biggest ones, which you may have heard about, is the elimination of pre-existing conditions. This year for children and in 2014 for adults, insurers are going to have to take everybody and cover pre-existing conditions, and that's a major, major change. There's also limits on benefit caps and also a requirement that insurers cover up to age 26. We already have a bill that just passed last year that extends coverage up to age 29, and we're looking from some guidance from the Secretary and HHS on exactly what that mandate on the federal level is going to be, so we can figure out how that's going to jive with New York State's requirements. In addition to the insurance reforms, there's a number of reforms that are going to make coverage much more affordable, in part for the uninsured, but also for those people who have insurance currently. I'll highlight three. I know the last speaker just mentioned the insurance exchange. I'm not going to talk a lot about it other than we've already been meeting on it, discussing it, and there's a lot of huge issues, but it promises to make insurance more affordable by pooling together risk, by making choices much more clear and simple, kind of what Ben had referred to for small businesses. It's one of the complaints we hear all the time, certainly from small businesses, that there's too many choices and they can't compare apples to apples. And by setting up 4 basic sets of benefits, that everybody's going to be able to compare apples to apples, and that's going to help a huge amount. What the overall goal of the insurance exchange is going to be to make insurance companies, compete on cost and quality rather than on risk selection. And that leads into another two key pieces that are going to make it more affordable. Subsidies on a sliding scale, going from where Medicaid leaves off up to 400% of the federal poverty level. On a sliding scale, there's going to be subsidies to help people purchase coverage. And in addition to the premium subsidies, there's a personal responsibility requirement. The individual mandate doesn't kick in until 2014, starts off low, $95 or 1% of income, whichever is higher, goes up by 2016 to $695 or 2.5% of income, whichever is greater. And that's going to be a key piece to having people get into the exchange, getting everybody in the pool, and trying to lower costs for everybody. I'll just highlight a couple of quick points on process. We've already been meeting a number of the state agencies, and I'm expecting that shortly there's going to be an announcement for a more formal process where both state agencies are going to be working with a group of stakeholders, both sort of in an informal but also in a more formal setting. So one of the things we know for sure is that there's going to be a lot of choices. A lot of the decisions and implementation pieces are going to be done on a state level, particularly around the insurance pieces of it, commercial insurance. So we know that we need experts from the insurance industry. We definitely need input from providers, hospitals, doctors, and others. Absolutely crucial to have a strong voice for consumers, and of course business and labor and academics and other stakeholders. And we know that there's the possibility to have unintended consequences. This is all new for most of us. So we're looking for a process with a lot of input. And with that, I think I'll end and I'll just say rock and roll. This is a really exciting time to be part of this.